How you doing, folks? Thanks for clicking on to the Thursday evening edition of Vogel's European Outlook. The time is now 25 to 9 in the evening, and around about not that far off this time last night. These were the temperatures across the British Isles, and while 9s, 10s, 11s isn't overly cold, still relatively on the mild side for the time of the year. It's interesting how these were the temperatures last night, and at the moment we're still sitting on temperatures of these values here. Let me just try and get the chart better looking for you. And you can see here 18 degrees at Aboyne, 17 at Altnaharra. We're still talking about 18 degrees, kind of Edinburgh, the Glasgow corridor. 17s and 18s further south as well. So a marked difference in terms of the overall feel of the air from last night to tonight. And of course, the previous night to that, we've seen patchy frost in areas. But it's always interesting at this time of the year because you can get these kind of wild swings in air mass depending on whether you're ahead of a frontal system, behind a frontal system. And at the moment, we've got a kind of frontal system that is almost parked directly over the UK. We've got southwesterly winds. We've got very cloudy, moist conditions. And of course, that is going to prevent the temperature tonight from really dropping particularly far. Now, the temperatures in the afternoon, even along the Murray coast, was as high as 20 degrees, a good 6 Celsius above the normal for this part of the country, and several parts of England and Wales as well, seeing temperatures above 20 Celsius this afternoon. So very mild for the time of the year, and it's going to be interesting to see how cool the temperature drops tonight, because the record for Northern Ireland in terms of the warmest overnight temperature on record for October is 16.6 Celsius, set back in 1985, and for Scotland is 16.1 Celsius. It's going to be interesting to see if we can see any kind of records breaking tonight. We may see local records, whether we see a national record. If the temperature stays above these records, it'll be interesting to see that. But if you look at the chart here, this is the current chart of the GFS. And you can see here the overall setup. Very strong area of low pressure, a lot of disturbed weather across Italy and the Balkan region. In fact, a couple of days ago, we've seen a record breaking, not necessarily just for Italy, but also for Europe. 740 millimetres of rain fell within 12 hours, which is just under 30 inches of rain. An astonishing amount of rainfall fell near Genoa in northern Italy a couple of days ago, and it looks as if that set a European record. And of course, Italy also broke a record back in the summer for the hottest temperature for the continent as well, so quite interesting as well. But certainly in the UK, we've got the frontal system draped across Ireland, northern portions of the British Isles, dry across England and Wales, but very warm, humid air parked over us at this moment in time. And if you look at the 250 millibar temperature chart, or the 850 millibar temperature chart, if get that right, you can see why we've got this setup in place. So we've got the area of low pressure to the west of the UK, well to the west of the UK. That's the remnants of Hurricane Sam. The frontal system that it developed as it transitioned from tropical to cold core. And of course, once it loses tropical characteristics, it forms frontal systems and so on and so forth. But its frontal system is sitting across the UK. The centre, like I say, is well to the west and northwest. And what that's doing is it's actually pulling air from way even beyond the Azores, deep within the subtropics, and dragging that warm, humid air all the way along its frontal system into the UK. Hence why we're feeling so mild and kind of almost muggy at this moment in time. So that explains why the temperatures are as mild as they are. Southwesterly winds. blowing all the way from the subtropics, a good 1,000 odd miles to the southwest of us, over the UK, and keeping things the way they are at the moment. A lot of cloud cover because it's a very moist overall environment here. But generally speaking, we're going to see that frontal system kind of hanging around over the next few days across the UK. You can see here more pulses of rain running through Ireland up the west coast to Scotland here. And eventually that frontal system, though it weakens, it will eventually push eastwards across the UK, allowing something a little bit fresher to come in. Nothing overly cold, but it will certainly allow fresher conditions to move in from the west and replace this unusually warm, humid air with something a little bit cooler. But like I say, it's nothing overly cold because it's actually dragging. It's going to pull air in from a still warmer than normal North Atlantic. So we're not going to get the benefits of anything particularly chilly or anything like that here. But notice here of the GFS ensemble here, if I run through the sequence here, it's interesting to see that we never really truly get low pressure moving back in the way we did a few days ago. If you skip through the loop, as you can see here, we've got a very, very strong area of high pressure, like a banana-shaped high, draped from Iberia, France, the UK, right the way across the top of Europe and into Eastern Europe here. And what that's doing is trapping this area of low pressure, this upper level cutoff low, divorced from the main jet, and it's going to be kind of parked, anchored, stuck in place over Italy and over the Balkan region, continuing to keep this region pounded by heavy rain, winds, nasty conditions. But as I continue to skip through the loop, you can see here how that high kind of maintains itself. Then it kind of starts to split. One piece goes up into to northwest Russia. The other piece goes into the North Atlantic. And that is going to allow the winds to start turning in from a west and northwesterly direction here. So over the course of time, you notice here that the trough over Italy connects up with a newly forming trough over Scandinavia. Those two join forces. We've got that then completely splits the ridge of high pressure into two pieces. The strongest then becomes the North Atlantic one into the UK. The other gets shifted well to the east here. So you notice here the trough kind of deepens and you start to see the heights coming down. That would indicate a kind of plunge of much fresher, colder conditions across central portions of Europe here. But notice that the high pressure kind of still hangs around through the middle portion of October, almost bang slap over the UK. That indicates a drier than normal pattern through to an extent, the foreseeable future. So we'll keep our eyes on that here. But that is very interesting to see the ensemble. So that's of course, all 51 members of the model pointing towards high pressure dominating the overall pattern as we go forward here. So I think I've spoken long enough. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening, and I'll be back as always in the next couple of days with more. Bye for now.